there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 24 of the anime series Log Horizon. And what an interesting episode, as we're uncovering, along with Shiro and, all the people who are working with him, what exactly is going on. The maniacal side of this oncoming attack, as Shiro has discovered by the end of the last episode. It's much akin to Joker from The Dark Knight. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Some men just want to wreak anarchy across the world. And that's what's happening. A lot of the attacks that are unfolding with the people of the land, as Shiro basically surmises, are kind of, being brought up off the top of these people's heads. They're kind of making it up as they go. They're just trying to tweak the entire situation in Akibahara against the Round Table. In other words, to diminish, the respect that the Round Table has earned. And this is something I speculated was actually probably the end goal. They wanted to sort of usurp the respect and admiration and all of the good deeds, essentially, that Shiro had accomplished both personally and within the Round Table, all the people involved in it. And they basically want to, take the foundations out from under the Round Table. But the question is, why? What exactly is there to gain by suddenly removing their power? And we find out that it's a power play to sort of bend the will of the people who, the Round Table are trying to have a communion with, the people of the land, the particular princesses involved. And I love how we have Lanessia really being the focal point. We're finally picking up with her again, and her having to be there, for the adventurers, representing, the people of the land side of things, but also thanking and being very benevolent to the adventurers, as was her mandate by Cowan. And so it's very intriguing to me that this coincides with who is probably the force to be reckoned with that has put all of this into motion. Of course, Lord Mars, this, as I called him in my previous video, demented-looking frog with face paint type of guy. And he's very much Joker-esque in that if he is, in fact, behind it, as I believe Shiro surmises by the end of this episode, he is all about anarchy. He's about usurping the control the Round Table has on Akibahara, the laws, the rules, the regulations, the benevolence that has spread through that entire city between the adventurers and the people of the land. There's peace until all of these things started to be slowly manipulated. I mean, you basically have Minori going over all of those documents, and they figure out this was all done deliberately. It was by no accident. It's not like there's something in the overall system that is just out of whack and nobody can detect. It's all being done purposefully to take away all of the good the Round Table has done, make them become distrusted, make them become suspect. So how does Shiro decide to combat this? I absolutely found this comical and interesting. He basically relies on Sujiro, who has created this whole sort of fangirl entourage around himself. We find out that, it was through his work that all of the cakes in that big cake-eating contest got basically completely taken out. He would have all these girls come in, and then he'd invite more and more and more and more and all this stuff. And it's fantastically hilarious that is the case. But suddenly Shiro, being the strategist that he is, he's overwhelmed by the anarchy, the simple, just randomness of this Lord Marv's plan. And so he realizes that, in a way, Sujiro stumbled onto the winning mechanism for that cake-eating thing. And he decides for himself that, Sujiro is who I need with this. I need somebody who can sort of go off the top of his head. I'm all logic and processes, whereas this cat's kind of going with gut instinct, and he's really just winning the day. He's got all these girls admiring him and everything like that, and they're willing to, basically be at his beck and call. No matter what he asks of them, they'll do it. And so, because you have a lot of these different people of the land, again, creating arguments and problems, it ranges from everything from business sort of deals and deal-making to romantic relationship stuff, and all of these girls surrounding Sujiro are perfectly attuned to sort of being an antithesis to that. They can definitely take it on and quell and make things more easy, quell the unease and create a level of peace once again. And so this is a masterful manipulation by Shiro, once again, who just happens, luckily, to have somebody at his side who admires him, who has taken inspiration from him, and who he can now rely on, much like Minori is trying to do with figuring out all that paperwork, much like, Akatsuki is trying to do by being the dutiful sort of backup, the personal guard, ninja, and everything that she's trying to do. We see that these characters, there is a great sense of loyalty between them. I love that. And what it finally amounts to in the end is you have Lanessia just being belittled by this Lord Marvis. He comes in, he's being very sort of condescending and demeaning. He throws an adventurer who just wants to come up and welcome him across a room, and he's trying to start trouble. He's trying to start fights. He's got his entourage, ready to take on the adventurers if they try to sort of lash back at him. And so you have Lanessia just backed against a wall because, according to this Marvis guy, the paperwork has been put into motion for a while now, that he'd be coming with all of this seafood on this giant barge and everything, and they're not going to be ready for it. He knew this. This was deliberate, because he wants to basically put Lanessia between a rock and a hard place and have to have her bend toward his will. Well, what is the thing he's least suspecting? Of course, Lanessia is realizing, per her duties, she will have to formally and officially apologize and make a big sort of ado about this. And that is exactly when Shiro decides, knowing where this Marvis guy is and the problems he's creating, he's going to show up in person. Finally, we have Shiro in Krusty's place, in a way, somewhere he should have probably been for a while. Krusty was basically the face of the Round Table and the adventurers, and creating that rapport and that relationship, which has been beneficial between the adventurers and the people of the land with Lanessia. But Shiro realizes it's time for him to step up. And as we're ending this series very shortly, it's intriguing and absolutely phenomenal that he finally has, and he realizes, I'm going to face this guy head on. It's Batman to the Joker. We're going to go down, and we're going to go down fighting. And otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.